I'm good. Thanks for asking, Venkitesh. Good evening, everyone. Good. Okay, so have you done your practicals? The previous pending practicals, everything? Nice. Cool. Okay, so just a second. Nice. Ah, okay, so I'm silent. Not getting voice. Srikanth. Okay, can you hear me well now? Yes. Okay, so today we will talk about DynamoDB. Hi. Hi, Prasad. Okay, guys. So do you remember about the DynamoDB? What do you know about the DynamoDB, guys? Disturbance. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear some disturbance from me? Like, okay, change to now, everyone. Guys, my voice is audible, clear. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Okay, so guys, DynamoDB. What do you know about this DynamoDB? What is a single line answer if someone asks you about the DynamoDB? Yes, it's a NoSQL service. It's a NoSQL service on AWS. Okay, so what is this NoSQL service? Why we need and all? Let's talk about that soon. So before that, let me introduce you this. What is this NoSQL service and why we got all these things here? So guys, if you take this, if you see here my presentation, so this is a traditional architecture approach. The client will be there and client will be connecting to your load balancer or EC2 or auto scaling group, and that instance will connect to the RDS in the backend. So this is the normal thing. Like guys, till now, everywhere by default, everyone uses RDBMS databases. Okay. Do you remember SQL queries and all the things, guys? SQL queries, right? We have joins, rows, columns, indexes, inner queries, outer queries, and then subqueries, etc., etc. We'll be doing all these things. We'll be doing all these things in the databases to get the data, to fetch the data from the database. And we also do aggregations, join computations type of queries, right? Yeah. The thing is here, guys, do you agree if Facebook or Amazon or what are big applications, they are using primarily SQL database? If you, do you agree with that statement? If they're using SQL database in the backend as a primary thing? Definitely no. No one will consider, or no one will agree that these big applications, those who need super fast data access from the database, will never will go to the RDBMS databases. So for these kind of things, guys, for these kind of things, these big companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google, which has huge amount of data, right? They want to retrieve it and they need to have an excellent high performance from the database sites. And if they were using a RDBMS database like MySQL, SQL Server and all, they need to scale up. Yes or no, guys? Scale up. They need to do vertical scaling. Let's say they have an SQL server with 16 GB RAM. If they need to have more power, what they need to do? Do they go and launch one more SQL server, or they will increase the size capacity of the SQL server? They'll increase the capacity of the SQL server, right? Yes or no? On RDS also we do the same thing, na? Guys, if you need to have a more performance, will you so basically, for example, if you are using T2 small, if you want to have a high performance, you'll go to T2 2x large, 3x large, 4x large, and all these things, right? Do you agree? And after that, you can go with read replicas also. But read replicas, you can have how many? How many you can have? 5 only maximum. But mostly for on RDBMS databases, you need to scale up. You need to increase the capacity of the server. You need to do the vertical scaling. You need to do the vertical scaling. And for how long you will do the scale up, guys? 16 or 70 GB or 80 GB or 200 GB or 300 GB or 400 GB. For how long? How long? How much do you do the scale up? There will be a limit. And if you keep on scaling up, and you need to pay a lots of money to maintain that. Do you think that for high performance, scale up is a valid solution? Scaling up is a valid solution, guys? Definitely no. That's the reason why they have we have got something called NoSQL databases. NoSQL meaning not only SQL. Guys, people will say that, hey, guys, remember database meaning not only SQL. Don't die with knowing only SQL. There is also a concept called NoSQL. There is also concept of NoSQL. In this NoSQL concept, we concentrate more on scale out options. We concentrate more on scale out options, guys. That meaning horizontal. Instead of scaling up the existing server, will in this NoSQL, you'll keep on adding new servers. That meaning you will go with the scale out concept. Don't worry, we'll be talking more about that. Don't think that machines will be automatically scale out and scale in. No, it's not that concept. We have a concept in DynamoDB which is a extraordinary concept. You can increase the performance based on the numbers that you provided. That's all. We'll talk about that. But keep this in mind that NoSQLs go with the scale out options, and vertical scaling is for RDBMS. And NoSQL meanings, as I said, not only SQL. Guys, in RDBMS, in MS SQL or MySQL, all these tables, everything is relational, right? Do you agree? Everything is relational. You should have. Can you tell me one more? Is it possible to create a table without predefined columns in MS SQL, in RDBMS databases? No. Everything has to be fixed. You need to thoroughly think about what are the columns that you need to create it beforehand itself. And need to mention the data in data types also, right? And can it also tell me, is it possible to add a column after you got so much of rows inside the table? Is it possible to add a new column in RDBMS if you have millions of rows? Is it easy? Definitely no. Definitely no. Is it possible to alter? No. So the thing is here, guys, everything is relational, and you should have primary key, foreign key, this key, that key, and this is dependent on that, and that is dependent on this. And the schemas meaning the columns, whatever you give are rigid. They don't change. They are not flexible. But whereas in NoSQL databases, it is not relational databases, it is non-relational databases. What is that? It is non-relational databases. No fixed columns. No fixed columns. You know what? In this DynamoDB, DynamoDB is completely serverless. DynamoDB is completely serverless. And also, guys, keep this in mind, this DynamoDB is purely for developers. Because in RDS, at least we go and create database instances, etc. But whereas in DynamoDB, directly, guys, directly you need to go and create a table. There is no concept of creating a database instance. There is no concept in DynamoDB to create an instance. Directly you will create a table. As an admin, as an architect, will you able to go and directly create a table without knowing any proper columns and all these things? No, no. Whose job is that? Developer's job. So the thing is here, so what we need to do is, guys, for this topic, please keep your minds in developer mode. Please keep this in mind, keep your minds in developer mode. There is nothing architects and admins will do on this. So you just need to know how the NoSQL works and how to create the tables, how to do all these things. We'll work on this. Okay. Yeah. So guys, remember NoSQL databases are non-relational databases, no fixed columns. In SQL Server, in RDBMS, it is fixed columns. Okay, column number 1, column number 2, column 3. That's all. Whereas in DynamoDB, you can create with only one column at the time of creating a table, and later you can add n number of columns. Is that possible on RDBMS? No. In RDBMS, you need to have a fixed columns. Whereas here in NoSQL, whereas in DynamoDB, guys, you can create a table with only one column in the starting, and later you can add multiple columns. And it is going this horizontal scaling. So I'll talk about horizontal scaling soon, right? And then guys, can you tell me a few examples of your NoSQL databases that you know already? Hmm? Do you know? No one? Okay. Okay. All right. So here, I think there are no developers at all here. Huh? Okay. Anyways, so guys, NoSQL databases. Have you heard about MongoDB, Cassandra, MongoDB, Cassandra, etc., etc.? There are many NoSQL databases available in the market. But AWS also want to have its NoSQL database concept, na? And that's the reason why he has something called DynamoDB, which is NoSQL databases on AWS. And then guys, NoSQL is for getting high performance. RDBMS, RDS, guys, RDS, which has RDBMS databases, are good for handling super complex queries. But remember, this NoSQL cannot handle complex queries. It doesn't support joins, it doesn't support aggregations, it doesn't support most of the things, but it is required for getting high performance. If you need more complex queries, comparing multiple tables, getting some data from one table, getting another data from another table, mixing 5 tables, all these things you can do it from in your MS SQL or MySQL or in RDBMS. But in NoSQL, no more joins. Joins cannot be supported here. No aggregations. Guys, is this clear till here, everyone? On what we are talking about? Nice. So here, let us quickly see the differences between SQL versus NoSQL databases, guys. So SQL meaning, you know, that is RDBMS. NoSQL meaning it is non-relational database system. Non-relational database system. And structured data can be stored in the tables. But here, guys, remember in DynamoDB, all the data is stored in JSON format. What is this, guys? It is unstructured data can be stored. This here is everything should be structured, and unstructured data can also be stored. And the schemas are static, it is rigid, and the schemas are dynamic. Anytime you can go and change the column, add the column, etc. But here, no, it is static. Schemas are rigid and bound to relationships. You cannot change easily, but schemas are non-rigid. They are flexible. Anytime you can go and do the alterations. This SQL Server is helpful for the complex queries, but this NoSQL is not, there is no interface to prepare complex queries. In SQL, we call it as tables, rows, and data columns concept. And here in NoSQL, concepts are collections, and collection has something called documents. And these are all the few examples of your SQL, like MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, SQLite, Postgres. All the things are SQL related. And NoSQL is like your MongoDB, Bigtable, Redis, RavenDB, Cassandra, HBase, Neo, Couch. All these are all NoSQL databases here. Guys, when we discuss about Elastic Cache, what is the engine that the Elastic Cache supports? What are the two engines that it supports? Redis and Memcached. Both are what is both are key value store. Both are NoSQL only. Yes, those Redis is also NoSQL concepts only. Yeah. So here NoSQL database. In this NoSQL, we have different kind of databases, guys, like columnar database, graph database, document database, key value database, right? Key value database. Do you see that here? In this key value, do you see the Redis? Did we discuss this Redis is key value store? The same way here, you have a MongoDB is document-based structure, and Bigtable, HBase, Cassandra is columnar database, and Neo4j, all these are all graph databases, basically. So these NoSQL are divided into multiple categories. So developers will choose based on the requirement. Developer will choose whether he want to go with key value or document based, whether he want to go for MongoDB or Cassandra. It depends upon them. Guys, is this clear till here, everyone? Thank you. Nice. Okay. Let's see what is the difference between DynamoDB and RDS. Guys, do you got a clarity on the differences between RDS and DynamoDB? Right? RDS is completely RDBMS and DynamoDB is NoSQL. Guys, can you tell me DynamoDB is server based or serverless? DynamoDB. It is serverless. Nice. It is serverless. And this DynamoDB offers push button scaling. Important. DynamoDB offers push button scaling. Push button scaling meaning what, guys? So, okay, now if you want to increase the performance of the RDS, what you do? You have to stop the EC2 instance. You need to change the instance type to bigger one. Yes or no? In that, do you need to have a downtime? Yes or no on RDS? Definitely yes. But here on DynamoDB, guys, it is push button scaling. Push button scaling meaning without any downtime, you can increase the performance of your DynamoDB table on fly. You can increase on fly. How? That is what we'll be learning. So you have a couple of, you have numbers, right? You have numbers, you put the numbers, how much big the number you put, that much high performance that you will get it from DynamoDB. That is why it is called push button scaling. That is why it is called push button scaling. Okay. And guys, can you tell me in which format these DynamoDB tables are stored? In which format? Very nice. That is a certification question. JSON, yeah. Document also. True. Guys, it supports both document and key value pair. Keep that in mind. Both document and key value pair. Okay. So let's go on and learn. Okay. I'll talk about this eventual consist. Do you remember, guys, in S3 we discussed about consistency models? Do you remember by any chance in S3 consistency models? Read after write consistency and eventually consistency model, right? So read after write meaning immediately you can get it. Consistency meaning slowly it will get, you will read it, right? Yes or no? So here also in DynamoDB, guys, here in DynamoDB, we have concept called eventually consistency reads and strongly consistency reads. I'll talk about that soon. Before that, let me, those are very new to the databases. let me give you a quick overview on how we do this. Okay, let's take, this is the table. Okay, so guys, can you tell me here, what is the default table name that we always create while at the time of learning? Yes, employee table, right? So let's say this is an employee table. What does this employee table contain? What are the columns that the employee table contains, guys? Employee number. You have name, phone, salary, department, something. So you will have, yeah, you will have this call. What are these called? What are the things that I just wrote? What are those called? What are these guys called? Columns. What are these called? Columns. C-O-L-A. What are these called? Columns. Nice. And how about this? Okay, if I put some data inside this, if I put employee number is, let's say 1000, and name is, who is here? Ram, and his phone number something, salary, you put something here, department, basically he's from IT. And like the same, I can have 1001, another one, and who is there? Yeah, Kalyani. And okay, guys, that's a random number, don't call, okay? So here we have something called, she's from DevOps, something. Okay, and also I'll put 1002, and who is there? Smita. And some number here, and some here, and she's HR exam. Okay, what are these called, guys? The one which I call, yeah, rows. What are these called? Definitely rows. These are called rows. But the thing is here, guys, in DynamoDB, instead of calling columns, now we call it as here attributes. What do we call? Instead of column, we call it as attributes. Instead of rows, we call it as items. Can you tell me here, guys? What are these called? Attributes and item. So table is a collection of what? Now, if I say what table is a collection of? Table is a collection of attributes plus items. Table is a collection of attributes plus items. Okay. Have you heard about the concept called primary key? What is primary key, guys? What is the concept of primary key? Unique ID, right? Okay. So which one do you think in this table it should have a primary key? Employee number. So guys, those who don't know primary key meaning the value should be always unique and not null. right? It should be always unique and not null. So here primary key meaning, is it possible to add one more row called 1000? Possible or not? No, because 1000 has been already taken in the first, so duplicate values are not introduced if you put this this employee number as a primary key. So this one is, this employee number is PK. PK meaning primary key. Getting it, guys? Getting it? So that is a primary key there. That is a primary key. And this primary key in DynamoDB, we call it as partition key. Primary key is also called it as partition key. Everyone, what is another name of primary key in DynamoDB? Partition key. Okay. Yeah. So guys, remember in DynamoDB, as I told you already, initially there is no concept called database, guys. In RDBMS, in RDS, we launched a RDS instance called Postgres, and we created database inside it, and then we created tables, right? But here in DynamoDB, you don't have all these things, guys. As DynamoDB is completely serverless, and directly you need to go and create a table, as I already told you before. In DynamoDB, guys, you can create a table with a single column, and then that column should be primary key. Keep this in mind. In DynamoDB, initially you need to create a table with how many columns that you need to create initially? In DynamoDB, only one single column. And that column should be what? That column should be primary key. That column should be primary key. Very good. Let me write that. In DynamoDB, initially you can create a table with a single column, and that column should be primary key. That, and also call it as partition key. Let's call partition key. And remember, guys, this partition key is mandatory in DynamoDB. Without that, you cannot create the table. Right? The primary key is mandatory in DynamoDB. Primary key is mandatory in the DynamoDB. Guys, is this clear till here? Those who are not developers, are you able to understand? Nice. Cool. Okay, let me introduce another key here called composite key. What is that key called? Composite key. Composite key. Composite key meaning it is a combination of, partition key plus something called sort key. Very important, guys. Let me introduce something called sort key. Guys, sort key here. Okay. Let's see what the sort key is. Now you tell me here, guys, is it possible to add another column with 1000 as per this architecture? No. Remember, let's say like you have got a nasty requirement, but in this table definitely need to add it on one more 1000. Is it damn sure that we cannot do that? Yes, it's damn sure that we cannot do it, because employee number is primary key and we already have 1000, and another 1000 cannot be introduced. Duplicate values are not introduced. For this is for sure. This is for sure. Okay. Now there is a case that I have to do this. I have to do this. In that case, if you want to have a duplicate values, excellent, Kumar. If you want to have a duplicate values allowed in the primary key, you need to have Another one which should be unique, you need to select it. Can you tell me out of these columns, which one would be the unique thing? Phone number is unique. And this phone number will become a sort key. This phone number will become a sort key. So you now, if you have not short, it is sort, S-O-R-T, sort key. If you have this phone number as a sort key, if you have this phone number as a sort key, right? And the combination of this primary key and the sort key should be unique. In that case, then you can add it. Okay, now let's say here I can add the column called, I have added a sort key, I have added a phone as a sort key. Now I can add this primary key will allow a duplicate value called 1000. And here I'll put Ram, the same guy. And is it possible to have the same 5465465 here? No, here this should be unique. Put something in here. The combination between this primary key and the sort key should be unique. Then only this primary key will allow the duplicate key. If and only if it has a sort key created. Do you understand this concept, sort key, guys? Everyone? In order to have a duplicate values to the primary key, what is the key that you can create it? Sort key, you can create it. So if you create a sort key, which is the combination? The combination of the primary key and the sort key should be unique. And also tell me, this sort key is mandatory or optional? Optional. Very good. Sort key is optional. Optional. Which one is? PK is mandatory. PK is mandatory. I'll put this here so that later you can read it. Okay. So if you have primary key for a single column, if you have a primary key for a single column, duplicate values allowed or not allowed? Duplicate values are not allowed. Dash. What was that? Sort key is optional. PK is mandatory. Right? If you have primary key for a single column, duplicate values are not allowed. Okay. Now next, if you have PK plus SK, combination, primary key duplicate values are allowed. And when this is allowed, keep this in mind. Combination of PK plus SK should be unique. That's clear? Is it hard for you? Is it making sense for you guys with this who are not developers? I'm putting my efforts to make you understand here. Understandable? Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay. So what is the primary key here in this table? Employee number, na? Employee number is primary key. And remember guys, this primary key is also called it as hash attribute. Important, very important. Through the coding, this is important. What is the hash attribute? Employee number. employee number is a hash attribute. Attribute meaning column name, na? If hash meaning here, hash meaning primary. Hash meaning primary. And for this, phone is sort key, and the another name for the sort key is range attribute. What is called range attribute. It's called a range attribute. And keep this in mind, DynamoDB data is stored in JSON format. I have already told you, but DynamoDB data is stored in JSON format. JSON format. Nice. Okay. I hope it is clear till here before I go to the next topic here. So the next topic here is, guys, we have something called consistency model. What we call here consistency models. Consistency models meaning here, guys, consistency model meaning there are two types of model. What do we do with the database? We read and when we write. Yes or no? There are two things that we do. We read and write. Do you have anything else that we do? So one is read and another one is write. One is read and another one is write. So read and then write. We can do read and write. Okay. So in read, again, we have two types of reads. Guys, in reads, again, we have two types of reads. This is important. See, we call it as eventually consistency reads, eventually consistency reads, and another one we call it as strongly consistency reads. Guys, in reads there are two types, but in writes, is there any way that is the types of writes? No. There is no types of write. So basically here in read we have something called, one is eventually consistency reads, another one is strongly consistency reads. Eventually consistency reads meaning, guys, the shortcut of this is eventually consistency. Instead of calling this much big, you call it as ECR and you call it as SCR. What are those? ECR and SCR. By this ECR is default all the time in DynamoDB, which meaning take a while. If immediately need to be written or immediately need to be read immediately, go for strongly consistencies SCR. Guys, is there anything that on write can we do something slow write and fast write? No. But in reads you have it. In reads you have two types of consistency reads. What are those? Eventual ECR and then SCR. Which one is default? ECR or SCR? Which one is default? ECR is default. Nice. Nice. Okay. Cool. And I'll talk more about this ECR and SCR. But before that, in DynamoDB, you have an extraordinary advanced feature. You know what is that? So advanced feature here is you can, what is the full form of TTL? Time to live. Remember, time to live. You can set a TTL for a column or a row that if you put a TTL called 25 days. And if you mention this TTL for a particular record, after 25 days, this record will be deleted automatically after this days, after the exactly time that what you specify. Maybe I'm giving an example. Guys, you have subscribed Amazon Prime Video. After 3 months, automatically it will go and, it will get a mail that, your subscription has been ended. How? I'm just saying, like, there are so many methods that you can do it. Just in case, whenever you registered, there might be a table there in the backend with your record, and then exactly at 3 months they have already said the TTL. Once the data is deleted from the table, you cannot log into this Amazon video time. So I'm saving an example here. So that is called their TTL, time to live. It is possible to get this TTL for the row specific if you want to delete a row in specific period of time. Make sense? Time period. Yes. And here we have a concept called indexes. Guys, we know this already. What is an index? Why we need index? The same book example that we heard since our childhood. Guys, if you take a book, the first page is index, na, right? Fast axis. Instead of fast axis, can we say that reading it fast from your database? So let's say you have a index page on your book, and if you want to go to the particular chapter or particular topic, directly if you go and see the indexes, and from the indexes you can directly go to the particular page. So what do you achieve with these indexes? You will have a rapid access, fast response. Instead of going through the entire table, you can instead of going with the entire table, guys, you can directly go to the particular place using indexes. And remember, indexes helps to increase the performance of the table. Do you agree? Indexes, it helps to increase the performance of a table. Why we need this? It is for retrieving the data. It's for retrieving the data. Okay, so this guy in DynamoDB, we have two types of indexes. Number one, we call it as LSI. LSI. LSI meaning, guys, local secondary index. This index, guys, these are all the things will be created by the developers, but we need to learn what is this, right? So the next one we call it as GSI. GSI meaning global secondary index. We have two types of indexes. One is LSI, another one is GSI. LSI meaning, guys, you can create an index with the combination of partition key. Partition key should be mandatory, and you can have any column as sort key. Guys, while creating a table, we put phone as a sort key, na? But when you're creating indexes are created to retrieve the data, right? So you can create an index with the combination of partition key plus any column as a sort key. But whereas for GSI, you can have any column as PK plus any column as SK. That is the advantage. So based on the requirement, either you can create LSI or GSI. Guys, LSI and GSIs are created to increase the performance of the table, to retrieve the data fast access, basically. And the clause here is LSIs are created at the time of creating a table. Later, you cannot modify it. These are all certification questions. LSIs can be created only at the time of creating a DynamoDB table. Later, you cannot modify or delete it. You cannot modify or delete it, guys. Whereas GSI can be created, modified, and delete anytime. So you can tell to the developers that, hey, developers definitely know the concept of indexes, they'll create it. But as you should tell that, hey, there is a concept called LSI and GSI developer, you can go and create LSIs. LSIs, while creating indexes, definitely we need to have a, we need to mention the columns. So in LSI, definitely what is the mandatory column that you should have in LSI? Primary key. And any column as a sort key. In GSI, Any column as a primary key and any column as a short key. There is no restrictions or mandatory there. Is that clear on that topic? Nice. How about others? Nice. And now we have something called, this is what I was talking about, provisioning capacity units. What is this called? Provisioning capacity units. I told you that we need to give some numbers. Based on the numbers, DynamoDB will go crazy, right? So these are all called provisioning capacity units, or you can call it as read capacity units. And another one we call it as write capacity units. In shortcut, you can call it as RCU and WCU. RCU and then WCU. RCU and WCU. Guys, so here in RCU, there are how many types of consistency models are there in reads? In reads, how many consistency models are there? 2. What are those? Excellent. ECR and SCR. Very good, guys. ECR and SCR. Eventually consistent reads and strongly consistent reads. Definitely. Very good. Okay. So, guys, in your DynamoDB depends upon only 2 things, RCU and WCU. Only these 2 things. DynamoDB, what do? We read and write, right? So how many RCUs that you have given, how many WCUs that you have given is the matter with the DynamoDB. How many read capacity units that you give, based on that number, your performance is dependent. And how many write capacity units that you give, based on that, your performance is dependent. And you know what? AWS is giving by default 5 RCUs and 5 WCUs. Sir, only 5 You know what? Let me talk about not 5. Let me talk about 1 RCU, the capacity of 1 RCU. 1 RCU capacity is equal to 5.2 million reads per month. And 1 WCU is equal to 2.5 millions writes per month. AWS will give you just like that, Jujube, free tier. 5 RCUs and 5 WCUs. And guys, to know how many, so if there will be a question that how many RCUs that I need to provide, how many WCUs I need to provide to my DynamoDB. Is it like random 5, 10, 15, 20 like that? No, you need to do some calculations here. Guys, I'll tell you one formula. Using that formula, you can easily do the math. Let's do a little bit of math here. But first, understand the formula here. One is for ECR. Guys, we have two. No? For we have SCR and ECR and SCR, right? In read capacity units. Let's say here. For SCR, 1 RCU is equal to 2 reads per second. 2 reads per second for, and this read will do every 4 KB size. Every 4 KB size, it will do it. For SCR, 1 RCU is equal to only 1 read per second for 4 KB size. Guys, please remember this formula. Can you tell me, guys? For SCR, 1 RCU is equal to how many reads per second? What is our size? What is the size? 4 KB. For SCR, how many reads per second? Everyone, 1 read per second. Coming to WCU, there are any ECR, SCR, no reads concept. Only 1 WCU is equal to only 1 write per second. And this guy will write for every 1 KB size. He'll take 1 KB size. Guys, reads are how many size? How much size? Reads 4 KB size. Writes 1 KB size. For ECR, how many reads? 2 reads. For SCR, 1 read. Keep this formula with you. Let me, we have discussed all these things. Let me give an example of how it will be asking the guys. This certification question, they don't ask much in architect, but in developer, you will get it. See, guys, I'll tell you when one you will get some questions like this, and you should answer it. See, I'll give a shortcut here. See, if you have a table that you want to read 100 items per second, how many items per second that you want to read? Everyone, 100 items per second. He is asking for SCR or ECR? SCR. SCR meaning how many reads per second? 1 read. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, now, and your items are 8 KB in size. How much size he is giving in the problem? 8 KB size. Now he is asking to calculate the provision capacity units. We need to do like this. See here, guys. First take the size, 8 KB size. What is our size in reads? 4. 8 divided by 4. How much? 2 capacity units we got it. And how many reads that he is asking per second here? 100. You multiply this 2 into 100, you get 200. So is he asking for SCR or ECR? SCR. SCR meaning is it 1 read per second or 2 read per second? 1 read. So it is divided by 1, it is 200. If it is ECR, how many reads per second? 2 reads per second. Divided by 2, you will get ECR. Divided by 1, you will get SCR. Guys, you understood what we did here? Take the size divided by our size. If it is reads, he's asking for reads, and divided by 4 KB, and the answer into how much of items he's reading it, and then divided by ECR or SCR. You see? Okay, now how about see this here? The guys, he's asking how many items per second? 50 items per second. What is the size? 4 KB size. Okay, let's see here. This is asking for the writes. Okay, 4 KB divided by 1 KB. What is the size he's asking? 4 KB. What is our size in writes? 1 KB. 4 divided by 1, 4, 4. 4 into how many items that he's asking? 50. 4 into 50, 200. For writes, how many capacity units? Write capacity units per second? Only 1 divided by 1. You understood the problem? Should we do a couple of problems now here? Will you do it? Let's get that. Okay. Now this is a question for you. Guys, 10 strongly consistent reads per second of 4 KB each. Tell me the answer for that. Take the size divided by our size, get the answer into that number, and divided by that strongly consistency. Can you tell me the answer for that? Guys, please put the entire equation, what you have got it there. Are you doing? Answer is 10. Right answer. How about this? Next, 16 eventually consistency reads per second of 12 KB. Right answer, 24. And the last, guys, do we have a 6 KB? No, no, every 4 KB chunk, right? So we need to round off with 8 here. You cannot have 6. You can have only 4, 8, 16, like that. And you need to round off this. Round off to 8 and then tell me the answer. 20 is the right answer. You understood, guys, how to calculate it? This is how you'll be getting it in your certifications. Super CC? Nice. So guys, which one is good for you? Let's say, for example, you have millions of rows inside your table. Is it better to do select star from table? Definitely no. Guys, so don't scan your entire table, which will consume your read capacity units. It is not recommended to do the scan. Always go for searching. Search with some particular number. Select star from where employee number is equal to 1000. So if you need to go with the searching. Don't go with the scan. Scan will take lots of what is that? RCUs. It'll charge more if you do scan. Keep that in mind. Okay, so we have something called streams. Guys, streams meaning, see, if you tell me one thing here for you guys, see here. In your RDBMS databases, let's say there is a record called Harsha. There is a row called Harsha, employee name Harsha, and you have modified with Harshavardhan Reddy. Can you tell me, is there any way in the RDBMS, can you get what was the before value after updating to the new? Is it possible to get that? Definitely not possible to get that, because once the table is updated, the old values are gone. But here you have a concept called streams, where all your old data, current data, existing data, all this will be stored in a separate log called streams. If there is any create, update, delete on your table, we have an option that you want to store the new values or old values, or you want to store old and new values. Based on the configuration, it will be stored inside the streams. Any concept called H2 in DB. What is that H2? H2 in DB. Bharat, I didn't understand the question. What is that H2? I think you have saw somewhere here. I didn't understand the question. H2. If you're talking about Hadoop, big tables, HBase, hyper table and all. Yeah. Guys, do you understood the streams? Do you understood, guys, the streams concept? Nice. So that's all on this Dynamo. What we do tomorrow is I'll show you. Basically, we could have done, but yeah, tomorrow I'll show you how to create a table and how to do how it looks like, and how to we connect to this DynamoDB table from coding application and all. I'll show you tomorrow on that. Please take a photo. Sorry, done. And next thing, yeah, this one. Please share PPTs from S3. Have you got this, Srikanth? Then you say you haven't sent mail and I haven't. Please, Srikanth, please send me a mail, not from S3. Please put the topics SEF, all the PDFs. Yeah, yeah. Guys, can you give me the final CC for today on this DynamoDB? Excellent. And we have only 2 topics left: Route 53 and VPC, 2 big topics. And after this DynamoDB practicals tomorrow, from day after tomorrow, we'll jump on to the Route 53 and we'll have VPC. then we'll conclude it. So guys, that is all for today, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next concept. Until then, take care, bye bye, have a nice day, and good night.